This is an exciting week because our whole season shifts. The sun will be ushering in Leo this week. And finally, I know a lot of you guys have been waiting for this. Mercury goes direct. Yes. Thank you, Mercury. Let's get into it. Wednesday, July 22nd. The sun will enter Leo at 12:13 p.m. Pacific here. We're entering into fire once again. This is fixed fire. The modality of Leo is fixed. There is something very charming, larger than life, romantic, passionate, loud, big, exaggerated about Leo. Think about the lion, Leo the lion. We don't ignore a lion if it were to walk by us. The Leo person enters a room, we tend to notice them. We tend to look up. They are here to receive attention. Here's the thing about Leos. There is such a thing as our shy Leo. They signed up to be in the spotlight this lifetime to receive attention, although it's not always comfortable for them. There are those Leos that just want to blend into the background, to blend in with the wallpaper. However, hard for them to do because they agreed to receive the spotlight and to receive attention. For some Leos, that can be a challenge. For others, they shine in it. Where's my spotlight? Turn it on me. Where are the mirrors? How does my hair look? So on and so forth. A Leo wouldn't mind a little bit of applause. They want to be recognized for the things they do, for the accomplishments they've had. In fact, oftentimes Leos, they don't feel like they're actually here until they receive that acknowledgement from the outside. So external validation is a big part of Leo. So permission to want attention, guilt-free. Permission to want a little bit of recognition. It just comes with the Leo territory. They rule romance and relationship in those early phases. And if they could carry that sort of dating vibe, honeymoon phase into the longevity of their relationships, they're the happiest little lions ever. They do have a temper. I mean, think about the lion. When he is upset, when he gets pissed, he roars. Same with our Leos. You know, they can purr like the happiest kitten, but they can roar when they're angered, when their loyalty is questioned. There's this roar that comes from their gut. If you've ever seen a pissed Leo, that fire really turns into a huge blaze. They're very charming. They're very magnetic. Leo is here to learn how to be in the spotlight, how to love, and really recognize also that that love comes from within. It doesn't always have to come from external validation, from somebody telling you how good you are, how handsome you are, how beautiful you are. They're ruled by the sun. They're bright, they're shiny, they're adventurous. There's a richness to Leo. There's a warmth to Leo. If they like you, that's the key. If they like you, they'll be one of the most generous people in your life. They give gifts. They have huge proclamations of love. They will fight to the death for you if they like you. If they don't, get out of their way. You don't want to get on a Leo's bad side. And then the very next day, we have Thursday, July 23rd. Mercury finally goes direct at 16 degrees of Cancer at 3:57 p.m. Pacific time. And we can now move forward in our communications, our plans, our itinerary, which is all coming from an emotional place because it is in Cancer. There could have been stuff coming up with family, communications with family or our inner circle that was a little bit wonky. Now we have the opportunity to move forward again. And then we have Friday, July 24th. Mercury, which is now going direct, is receiving a sextile from Venus. We like this at 9:13 a.m. Pacific. So we wake up Friday and there's this desire to express Mercury from the heart and with love, Venus. This is a beautiful morning to have a conversation, to smooth something over, to say what you need to say because there's grace behind our words. There's also a lot of forgiveness available in the conversations we have. We can also be on the receiving end of a beautiful text, a little love note. The next day, July 25th, we're emotionally starving. Saturday, July 25th. So I'm going to share with you guys how to create a plate that sort of satiates your appetite. We wake up, Moon in Sagittarius being squared by Venus at 4:54 a.m. We want love this morning, and we don't have a lot of discernment around where we get it from, as long as we feel seen and as long as our heart feels touched. That's all great and lovely and wonderful, but we might have regrets if we go to the wrong person for this. We have a big appetite, though, this morning for romance, emotional connection, heart connection. But because it's a square, we have to use discernment, which is a little bit harder to use under the sky. But we have to mindfully pull it up discernment. Is this going to be healthy for me in the long run? Is this really going to feed me in the long run? Then later on that morning, the moon is opposite Mars at 7:58 a.m. So we wake up hungry. Come 8 a.m., we get even hungrier. So the moon is opposite Mars. Our desires are up. And if they're not met, we're going to go looking for ways to have them met. Again, there's not a lot of discernment under the sky. We're hungry for love. We're hungry for romance. We're also hungry for intimacy, sexual connection. And where we are going to get those desires met, is that healthy for us? That's the big question. And then we have Sunday, July 26th. Saturn is retrograding in Aries from 14 degrees Aries all the way back to 7 degrees of Aries. And this is going to last through December 11th. Aries, if you're listening, those born between March 26th and April 6th, right on your head. It's this feeling of showing up to your responsibilities. It could have feelings of obligation and duty. Where are you called in your life to show up as the responsible, mature adult during this time? We want to show up where the work is. And it can also be this idea of cleaning up past things, like going through that pile of paperwork that maybe you've been putting off, taking care of appointments that you need to schedule or reschedule. Saturn retrograding says it's time to show up as a mature, responsible adult in the areas of life that we need to. And we're cleaning something up. We're taking care of the tasks, and it's not always fun, but there it is, right? Okay, I'll be back next week. The last week of July, we're coming in with a Jupiter cazimi and a big fat full moon. All right, I'll be back.